Play hard, try not to make mistakes, but don't worry about mistakes because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Commitment to excellence.
Is a commitment to excellence.
The flame that would burn brightest here is the will to win.
Is the will to win. Is the will to win.
Your commitment to excellence and your will to win will endure forever. You will magnificent.
The great.
What's going on, nation? As soon as I start, phone starts ringing. Spam. All right. What is good? Man, we got a lot to get into today. So much happened this weekend. Positive, negative, take it as you will. I noticed Raider Ben was already here. What's going on, Ben? Yes, man. That game, we're going to get right into the Super Bowl here in a minute, man, because that was something else. My green screen wanting to bleed through on my head right now, really. All right. Yeah, it's bleeding through. Hold on one second. Man, that game was intense. I thought it was, you know, for us West Coast Raider fans, that game was intense. It was a nail biter to a certain degree. It was kind of boring at first, a little bit lower scoring than I thought it was going to be, but I mean, at the end of the day, it turned out to be pretty good. Well, it went in my favor to a point. Again, we're going to get into that, but today is obviously February 3rd, 2020, day after the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, man. You know, forget the monologue, man. Let's just go ahead and get into this real quick.
But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution.
Wow. That might be a hint to the next segment right there. But let's go ahead and get into the Super Bowl. So when right before the Super Bowl started, I noticed that Raider Bam, who is actually here right now, he commented, F the 49ers. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like, okay. And I put this in his stream yesterday. If you're a West Coast Raider fan, you or have ties to the Bay or have ties to California, West Coast in general, it was hard, but you were kind of rooting for the Chiefs, because I'll be the first one to tell you, I mean, I know some Chief fans. I just don't talk to them at all, to be honest with you. I know Chief fans, but I don't talk to them, not on a daily basis, not on a weekly basis, not even on a monthly basis do I talk to the Chief fans that I know. But I got a ton of family members that are 49er fans. I got people around me all the time that are 49er fans. I was out and about all week long, and all I saw was cars running around with Niner flags everywhere where I'm at. I went to the mall right before the game. I had to go get some things from Apple and do some things over there, and there was Niner jerseys. I mean, it was just swarm of Niner fans. Anyway, and I'm not even knocking that, dude, because you know what? If the Raiders were in the Super Bowl, we'd be walking around sporting our flags and our gear too. But I just know from being on the West Coast, it's Niner heavy over here. And I knew if the Niners win, I'm like, man, I mean, growing up and all the smack talking, I know we're not part of the Bay. I mean, that's part of it though, right? We just left. We're in Las Vegas now. We leave, they win a Super Bowl. It was bad enough they were in the Super Bowl. We have to deal with that argument all the time now. Oh, Raiders are Vegas now, right? You guys can't keep your home. Now it's the Bay is ours and we're in the Super Bowl. I mean, that alone, that in itself, man, was hard to deal with. And so, I mean, I had no choice. But, well, to go for the Niners, go against the Niners yesterday and actually root for the Chiefs. And it was hard. As hard as it was to even root for the Chiefs and actually hear myself get excited when they did that comeback. Man, I'm lost for words for it, man. I never thought in a million years that I would be in that situation. My boy Raider John put out a tweet last week, talking about all the times he was going to be pissed yesterday, except for when they showed the face of the losing team. Then he'd be smiling. It was kind of a win-win, lose-lose situation for us yesterday, but it worked out. And I'm going to turn that around a little bit today, because now here's one big positive that's going to sound like a negative, right? When it comes to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. The standard's been set in the AFC West. The standard has been set. And I was on here last week talking about Derek Carr and in the system quarterback, and I stand by everything I said, guys. I mean, from a system standpoint, it makes sense. And we're going to get into that in the next segment. But John Gruden's an offensive-minded coach. And I know he's probably watching that game yesterday thinking, that's the kind of offense that I want. And this is going to be the first time I defend Derek Carr, right? Then you need to call your plays like that. And you need to train your quarterback to play like that. The thing that I saw from Mahomes yesterday is that there's no quit in that guy, okay? There's no quit in Mahomes. And every play, he's trying to go downfield. He's not trying to get 2 yards here, 4 yards there. He is trying to get 10 yards a play. He wants every play to be a first down or a home run. That's his mentality. He wasn't that accurate yesterday. Threw 2 picks. That was a good defense, though. That was a good defense, and there's something to be said to that too, and we'll get into that later. We'll get into that in segment 3. But there was no quit in Mahomes. Even after the picks, he constantly wanted to push the ball down the field. Not only are they the best in the AFC, they're the best in the West, and that is our new target, right? I mean, they've been our target for the last few years, but now they're dead to rights, man. We still got to worry about the Broncos, and we still got to worry about the Chargers. We can't go to sleep on them. But right now, Mahomes and the Chiefs are the standard. I thought that game was almost over. I mean, that defense, the Niner defense, was playing really well. You have to have a real complete defense that plays 4 quarters to go against the Chiefs, which I can right now sit and tell you the Raiders don't have at this moment. Just don't have it. But we do have some offensive weapons that we could build upon. We need more. We don't have enough, but there's some key stuff going on our offense, and we could run with them. We could run and shoot. It'd be a shootout. Let the best defense win. Who's going to make the most defensive plays? So that's going to be my focus right now moving forward. Let's jump in the chat, man. I see everything moving up over there. I know Raider Ben was here. Let's see who else is here. Yancey, that Brady to the Raiders. We're going to get into that here in segment 2, bro. I know. You're good, man. No worries, man. I saw you getting lit. But then again, most of the videos that I watch of you, whether you're in the trash talk circle chats or whatever, you always get lit. So it's all good, man. That's the Raider Ben motto right there, right? So it's all good, bro. Hold on. I didn't catch that, Ben. Let me go back on that. Yeah, I didn't really catch it, but he was talking about Mahomes being medium and short. I think he's going deep. I didn't catch that. My voiceover is real fast. Yeah, there you go. Most of them are short, medium, and deep. The routes that are being ran, I think that's maybe where he's going with it. I got to get used to this voiceover, guys. But like, he's always pushing the ball. They got playmakers too. Let's keep that. They got speed, and they utilize their speed well, and they utilize their playmakers well. And I think I want Gruden to step up his game on that too. So KOS Raider was talking about that's how he's talking about, rethinking the whole defense wins championships. And the Niners gave up a little bit on that, huh? And I've always said this: defense does win championships, man. Defense wins championships, but I always said quarterbacks build dynasties. And that's what we got to watch out for Mahomes right now. His first year as a starter, he was the MVP of the league. His second year, he wins the Super Bowl, and he's the MVP of the Super Bowl. If we don't find a way to play defense against the Kansas City Chiefs and really put the clamp down on Mahomes, there's another dynasty that could be born here. And now salary cap helps us out in that situation. They're not going to be able to keep all their star players all the time. There's going to get to a point where they're going to rotate, and that's where Mahomes is going to be tested, because we're getting ready to talk about Brady in the next segment, right? Brady's proven year after year that no matter what you give him, he's going to produce. Mahomes hasn't been in that position yet, but the guy can play the game. He sees the field really, really well. And I think that's like the biggest thing that goes for him. I mean, like I saw for the first day, he's vulnerable. If you get pressure on him, he's vulnerable. And he's not necessarily the most accurate all the time. I mean, nobody is. I mean, but he showed some holes in his game last night. And it might have been nerves. Who knows what it was? But, a good defensive front is where you start. But you got to have a back seven to cover too. But the guy sees the field really well. So, and he's got playmakers. So we'll see. The narrative, Raider Ben says, the narrative of defense wins championship is over. Yeah, when you got these new hybrid quarterbacks coming in, and I don't really consider Mahomes hybrid, but a guy like Lamar Jackson's going to make some noise next year too. We got to be looking out for the Ravens. But the speed, the playmaking ability on offense sets the tone. I mean, you can't win if you're not scoring points. So your defense, and that's the one thing I guess you could say about the Niner defense yesterday. If the defense was going to win them a championship, the defense had to take some more turnovers and score points off them. Even when we got our butts handed to us against Tampa, I mean, they had defensive touchdowns. You had to have a defense that scores. I mean, that's to me, that's what the defense win championship motto would have to be. A defense has to score points. Because an offense like Kansas City, man, I mean, at the end of the day, 21 points in pretty much 9 minutes seals the deal. And how do you stop that? Once they get going, they're hard to stop. Lizzie Love says she doesn't want Brady for the Raiders. We're going to talk about that in a segment two. Um, pros and cons to everything, Lizzie Love. Pros to cons to everything. Mahomes' defenses are mediums. Oh man, let me go back and get that because I finally caught that. There you go. So now I got you, Ben. So he's saying Mahomes' reads are deep, medium, then short. So he's constantly looking for the big play, and I agree. Jack Bauer 24 car sucks. We'll get into that. We're gonna get into that. I think sucks is a strong word. Game manager. Yeah, I mean you're not. Well, we're gonna talk about that. I don't want to get in. We'll get into segment 2 in a second. What's up, faculty? We're gonna get into that a little bit too. Maybe in the next show. I don't know. I'm still looking at right now. I'll tell you what I'm looking at though, faculty Raider. I'm looking at definitely looking at linebacker right now. But that all depends on how this free agency goes, especially with segment 2 when we start talking about Brady. Depending on what we do in free agency, that's really going to change what I think that the Raiders are going to do in the first round. But after watching that game as it stands right now, with the team the way it is right now, we're not looking at what's going to happen with Brady and that's going to happen with Carr. It's got to be defensive heavy right now. Right now, we'll see. We'll see which way Gruden may take this thing. We're going to get into that in a second. I'm going to wrap this up here in a minute. Jack Bauer saying, "Well, my guy Ben, yeah, Ben, you changed your approach on this YouTube thing, man. You're doing more of the podcast style. I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it." Raider Ben passed out drunk. Yeah, it's Raider Ben. I can see that. All right, guys, let's go ahead. I want to jump into segment 2 at this point, and I got to remember my settings here. But let's go ahead and talk about this Tom Brady thing. Yeah. All right, yesterday and the day before, all throughout. I mean, the Tom Brady rumor has been out for a while, but per league source, right? I think I saw it from Adam Schefter. There was a couple different Ian Rappaport. There's a few different people that reported on it that were talking about. No, it's a real deal that the Raiders will attempt to get Brady if he does not sign with the Patriots, which is key, by the way, along with the Chargers. So that really kind of spices the pot up for me a little bit right there. Because you kind of really don't. I mean, regardless of what you think of Brady, you really don't want him going to the Chargers either, right? So because they have talent over there too. The Chargers have a lot of talent. I mean, they have a lot of misfortune, but they have a lot of talent. I talked a little bit last week about what I thought about Brady and his age, and I stick by that. I'm not yet ready to just sit there and say, you know what, I'm all in on Brady. Do I think Brady's the GOAT? Absolutely. Am I over the Tuck rule? Been over the Tuck rule for a while. I mean, at some point you got to let that go. And I'm over the deflated balls because I mean, even though you can technically call it an advantage, I mean, it came out in those reports too that, you know, come on, man. You think Brady was the only one doing that? He's the only one that got caught. It's only cheating if you got caught, and he got caught. So, I mean, that is what it is, right? As far as the cheating and the videotaping and the signal calls and all that Belichick was doing with some of his coaches, you know, that was an advantage to Brady, but that wasn't Brady, right? Brady still went out there and threw the ball. Brady's still out there reading defenses. Brady still went out there and did his thing. Brady's the GOAT. Brady has the ability to raise the level of players around him, and I think that is what you're seeing from Mahomes as well, right? Quarterbacks that raise the level of play around the other 10 players around them. And that's exactly what you're getting from Brady. I don't think Brady's worst years when he broke his leg. I mean, or I don't know I think it was a knee injury. Brady is just that good. And even with not a lot of weapons last year and he still had really good numbers, man. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really hard to say that I would not want Brady. The reason that I'm skeptical on Brady is not so much his skill level, but everybody has a breaking point. He's 43 years old. You know, I'm in my mid 40s now, guys. And when I try to go exercise or overexert myself, I feel it. And, you know, so you're going to have to baby him a little bit. It's just the way it is. And when he was in New England, I mean, that's his system, man. That's his baby. He don't really have to do much of anything. I mean, he just knows it, right? Coming to the Raiders, he's going to have to put in some work. He's going to, you know, West Coast offense, I think the offensive schemes are fine. The offensive schemes are not going to be the problem. It's the verbiage. And I know that Tom Brady is an intelligent young man. Not so much young. But there's a potential chance for a learning curve there. I don't care who you are, right? And then when does Father Time catch up to Brady? And he's asking for $30 million, okay, which is much more than we're going to pay Carr. And, you know, I know there's a lot of Carr haters. I know Ben's a Carr hater right now, and Jack Bauer's a Carr hater right now. There's some people already in the chat that are like, get rid of Carr, man. Carr sucks. Carr don't suck. I want to get that straight. I won't say he sucks. Is he elite? Does he raise the level of play of the other 10 players around him? No. I said it. Yeah, I said it last week. I think right now at this point, he's pretty much looked at as a game manager. I would give him even a notch above game manager. And here's what frustrates me about Carr. When you look at Mahomes, right? You look at what Mahomes was doing. Ben just got done saying in the chat, right? He's reading deep, medium, then he's going short. And for the most part, Carr does that too. But Carr doesn't let the play develop, and Carr doesn't trust in his playmakers. And we could say that, you know, we could talk about the lack of playmaking receivers on the outside, but he has playmakers, man. Last year he had playmakers, and his numbers showed it. His numbers were better, but again, man, I don't. When you see the Raiders down last drive, and we need that touchdown to take the lead, regardless of the time on the clock, right? When we need to go down there, we need to make plays. We need to get in the end zone. Carr does it. Go back and look at it. I mean, the history shows. I mean, I think this is what frustrates me the most about Carr, right? Why can't we get that for 4 quarters? Why can't we get that kind of play for 4 quarters? If he approached the game the way he does in those drives for 4 quarters, because that's what Mahomes doing. Mahomes act like he's on a last-minute drive every time he gets on the field. If we have that kind of mentality and Carr could perform like that, his numbers would be better. This offense would be better. And that's not me making excuses and standing up for Carr. It's a fact. You look at it. The guy's money on those 4th quarter drives, making great throws. The guy has arm talent. Now, here's the only excuse you're going to hear me give Carr. Gruden's to blame a little bit for that. I talked about it last week that Carr needs to piss Gruden off every once in a while and stop towing the line so much, right? Stop being the company boy too much. But at the same time, Gruden needs to rethink his offensive philosophy. He's got an amazing playbook with some amazing plays and amazing different looks and all this verbiage, right? But honestly, Gruden came back and brought old school football back. And the way that Gruden plays, he's run first. And we got Josh Jacobs, and I don't blame him for wanting to be run first, but he wants to get the lead, and then he wants to smash you with the run, which stifle any quarterback, right? That'll slow down any quarterback in its game because he's going to slow the game down and try to work the clock. And I have no problem with that. And in that, I mean, I guess, you know, sometimes I always wish, and I remember thinking this way, even when we were good, you know, in 2000, 99, 2000, 2001, and even when Callahan took it over in 2022 or 2002. I always wanted to put the pedal to the metal sometimes. I didn't want to just get the lead and just start running the ball. And I know we got a great running attack now. But if we're going to have an offense and we're going to go out and get weapons, let's use these weapons. I mean, look what Kansas City does. They just put the pedal down out the gate. They struggle in the first quarter, but normally in the second quarter they explode because they're never letting up. They're constantly trying to move the ball downfield. And I'm not even saying if Gruden did that Carr's going to be able to do it because Carr, since he came into the league, has naturally been scared and checked down. He's been the check down quarterback since the time he came into this league. And I remember watching it his rookie year, and I remember saying, okay, he's a rookie. They're playing it safe. Second year, same thing. Okay. Changing offensive quarterback coaches, offensive systems. I'm like, okay. Well, it's to the point now where, I mean, he's just checked down happy. I watched a video the other day about when Carr was in the Pro Bowl. Check. Even in the Pro Bowl, he's checking it down, man. I'm just kind of like, man, this your stats don't even matter now, and you're checking it down. So I understand people's frustration with Derek Carr. I have the same frustrations, big time. But I also have a problem with, playing soft offense, if you will. Like, I love running the football. I love seeing Josh Jacobs run the football. But you got to use your weapons. And then we can make the excuse for the offense last year, then there wasn't enough outside weapons to do even what the Chiefs are doing, and I understand that. But even if we bring Brady in, okay, and this is the pros with Brady. Brady reads the defenses like no other. He could throw the ball. He makes smart decisions, but he's going to need playmakers, right? So basically what I'm saying, like when we're talking about the draft, I can't remember who asked me in the chat recently, like about, what I want to see in the first round. If we get Brady, hands down, we need to get some dynamic wide receiver help. Yeah, I can talk. Wide receiver help. Number one, playmakers. If we don't, I mean, it's good. That's why I said I want to see this thing play out. Am I against Tom Brady? No. Is there a level of worry when you're signing a 43-year-old quarterback? Because you sign Brady, you're going after quarterback, right? What do you do with Carr? I mean, at this point, you kind of already slapped Carr in the face, right? Because, I mean, it's pretty much out there that the Raiders will go after Brady. Vote of zero confidence in Carr. So at this point, I mean, you might even say, you cut him, or do you try to trade him? What are you going to get for him? Do you try to package him with that number 12 pick, which is where my mind's at right now, but I'm not Mike Mayock and I'm not the draft guru, but do you try to package Carr with the number 12 pick to someone like maybe the Redskins? I don't know if they'll take that. I don't know. Do you try to package some deal like that to be able to start inquiring some extra draft picks to move up and get like Tua? Because there's a chance that Tua don't fall, right? He might go to Miami. Cincinnati's going to take Bowerman. That's the way it's shaping out as of right now, which leaves us with Herbert, and there's some inconsistencies there too. Like, he's definitely a project, and we'll have time regardless if you get Brady or whatnot. But you move on from Carr, we're going quarterback in the first round. And we're going to try to make a move, I think, for Tua. It would make the most sense. But then again, Gruden has a different eye when it comes to quarterbacks. So would Brady, I mean, the bottom line, let's ask the question. Would Brady be a good, solid move for the Raiders right now? Because $2.9 million to Carr tomorrow, plus his $18.9 million salary for next year, you're looking at about, what, $21 million? So you're going to spend $9 more million on Brady. And you're still going to take like a $5 million cap hit for getting rid of Carr. So that's $35 million on our quarterback for the GOAT. We're not just getting any quarterback, right? It would be the GOAT. Now, I personally don't think that the Patriots are going to let him walk. I think they want to ride and die with Brady until he calls it quits. I mean, just from a ticket selling standpoint, I talked about that last week as well. If you're going to convince Mark Davis it's time to move on, I mean, Davis is going to want a guy like Tom Brady in there. I heard someone mention that they really think that it's going to still be Mariota. I wouldn't. That I wouldn't. If it's not Brady to take us into the future with this young quarterback, come on. I didn't hear that. I got to get in the chat. Let's go ahead and get the chat. My bottom line is I'm not going to be mad if they get Brady. I'm not. I just concerned that, I mean, it's the face of the franchise for a year, two for Lucky, but we're not getting the Tom Brady that that we've seen over the course of the last 2 decades. We have to understand that. I think everybody has to understand that. He didn't have weapons last year, but there's been many years he hasn't had really good weapons, and he still produces. So Father Time is just one of those things that you can't predict. But you know what? Even Brady at a couple steps back is still better than a Carr, and I get that. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't think the Patriots let him go, though. I agree, Ben. It's about winning games. That's the only stat that I cared about. I mentioned that last week too. And Carr's lost the most games behind his brother David Carr, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if we could just get, I'm not even going to go there because it don't even matter. It don't even matter at this point. I mean, I said it last week, and I stick to it. I don't think I know Carr's not our future. We need to make a move, especially when you look at our division, because I don't think we're going to be able to build a defense like that quick. And I don't think John Gruden's going to put that much effort into it. He's an offensive guy. He wants to have an offense like Andy Reid and Mahomes did yesterday. That's what he wants. Yeah, I agree. Carr, Ben again saying, Carr completing 70% of his passes and having a quarterback rating over 100 is going to keep his job. No, it could, right? It could. It's good enough. If there's not another option, it's more than good enough. But how's he going to approach the game next year? I mean, maybe that's kind of what they're doing, man. Maybe that's part of it, right? Maybe Brady signs with the Patriots, and maybe Carr kind of sits back and goes, "Shit, I got one foot out the door." He does. I think he's become too comfortable, especially with his numbers, right? Well, I got the numbers. Yeah, I think he needs to be pressured. We need to bring a young stud in here, and we need to really, pick up some competition to say your job is not safe. But if you go get Brady, I mean, you're not going to pay two quarterbacks $21 million, the other one 30. That's just too much in quarterback. I'd be upset at that. You get Brady, Carr's gone. You get Mariota cheap, maybe you bring in both and just use that for competition. But I don't want Mariota, to be honest with you. That's a good point. When let me see who said that. I didn't catch that. $517 Way Life said when Carr wanted to fight Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, he knew that he had thin skin. He wasn't going to be the Raiders quarterback. I don't know if that shows that he has too much thin skin. Some people will say that he was standing up for himself, and he needed to be more that way. He needed to kind of have more of that attitude of like, standing up for himself and being more fiery and being more. He's a football player, right? But I think the way that he handled it was more crybaby-ish than tough. So I'm with you on that. Like, Carr has all the skill set, guys. I've said that. And when you watch the tape, you see the arm strength, you see the accuracy, his ability to command huddles, his ability to lead. All of it's there. My only problem with Carr is, like I said, he doesn't have that. It's funny. It's funny because I quoted what Mikey Rader was saying on Air Nation now it's a couple of weeks ago, where he's talking about the Mamba mentality that he always talked about at the beginning of his career. Rest in peace, Kobe. But we have not seen any, in very spotty spots of his game, you see that Mamba mentality. But that's not the way Kobe played, right? Like you're up on there, you're talking about Kobe and you're talking about that Mamba mentality. Then Kobe brought it every play. Kobe brought it every game, every quarter. It was Mamba mentality on and off the court. You don't see that from Carr. You just don't see that Mamba killer instinct. And at this point, I don't have enough faith in saying that I'm going to see that. I've been saying that, and you guys know, man, I've been on here I've been gone for 3 years primarily, but I've been on here since Carr's been drafted. Even before he was drafted, I got the pom-poms out. I was shaking and baking him, and I was saying, hey, Carr, and I kept defending him, kept defending him, kept defending him. I'm not going to put his skill set down because he has a skill set, guys. He just doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't have that it factor that I want in a quarterback. I want in a football player, period. But I'm going to talk about his skill set. The guy still has a lot of skill. He just lacks that killer instinct. And I don't have faith that I'm ever going to see that killer instinct. At some point, you just have to kind of sit back, take a deep breath, and even look in the mirror and admit to yourself, I'm done. I'm done trying to defend a guy that has all the skill set but doesn't want to use it right. And I do, trust me, and I've said it already, I could put some of it on Gruden by the way that he designs and the way that he calls plays, right? He's very conservative to that way. He's old school. He's very old school. Throw, go after it, make some big plays, but once you get the lead, he tones it down. He's been that way. Even in his first stint here, he was that way. That's the way he plays football. But if Gruden's a very smart offensive dude, man, and Gruden needs to adopt that killer instinct too, and be like Andy Reid even, right? And say, whether it's Carr, whether it's Brady, whether it's Tua, whether it's Peterman, I don't care who starts for us next year. Got to let it fly a little bit. Use Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs ain't running the ball, get it in his hands outside, man. Go out there and get the wide receiver weapons, the playmakers that's going to like make plays, right? Judy, Lamb, those are some of the receivers that I talked about. Great route runners, great speed. That would help. But there was another guy I was looking at, and I can't remember his name. It's kind of a weird name. Vatesh, something like that. Not the best route runner, best hands with it, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he's making plays. I think there was a stat on there. He breaks a lot of tackles. He can take it from the backfield. He can catch screen plays, end arounds, and he could go across the middle. We need people like that are good. You're going to fear. He's speedy. He's agile. We need people that when they get the ball in their hand, they're going to make plays. That's what Mahomes has. Kelsey makes him look good. We got Waller. We don't got a Hill. And I don't like Hill. Did you guys notice yesterday that they flashed him and his boy? That kind of pissed me off. After all the controversy, he wins the Super Bowl and they put him like grabbing his son and stuff and loving on him. I was like, wow. Anyways, we don't have that kind of playmaker on the outside. That's what we need. Yeah, Yancey. Carr is good at close games. That's what I was kind of talking about, right? Why can't he have that mentality for 4 quarters? And Gruden's got to own some of that too, right? Why can't that offense be like that for 4 quarters? That's what I'm saying. So, I think that's what pisses me off the most is that Carr does have that instinct. Carr does have that, but it's only in the 4th quarter when we have no other option. If he had that kind of mentality through the whole game, we could question weapons, but man, okay, let's put it that way, right? We don't have enough weapons. We didn't have enough wide receivers, yada, yada, yada. But those same players that we do have made plays in those situations. And let's face it, we went up against some really good defenses that weren't going to allow us to do that. But that's what pisses me off is you see that. In close games, Carr gets this, I don't know, this Mamba mentality, I guess, right? Where he does go out there and he just seems to make these plays and make these great looking throws and he lays it all out on the line. But one drive in the 4th quarter is not enough for me. We need a quarterback that's going to do that all the time. And a coach that's going to allow that too. Because like I said, he toes that company line. He does what Gruden will defend him. No, he did his reads. He did it the way that I teach it. Well, sometimes you got to teach your quarterback too. But if you see a play, take it. You want to make a play, make it. But, you have that. You better make it, though. And I think that Carr has felt the pressure from Gruden in his system too, right? He's trying so hard. Like Ben made a good point. Completing 70% of his passes and having a quarterback rating over 100, he feels like, see, coach, I did it the way that you wanted me to. I had really high numbers as far as completion percentage and quarterback rating. That's the kind of quarterback style you want me to play, right? Don't make no mistakes, make plays when they're there, yada, 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 yada. And I will say, no, that's what's holding you back, man. That's what's holding you back. Anyway, we can go on and on about it. Let's get in the chat for a little bit, and we'll head into segment 3. Raider Ben, Raiders, Carr's a kiss ass to Gruden. Yeah, dude, totally. Right? He wants to do everything. Like, there was a lot of talk, and we talked about this, maybe not in full disclosure, but we talked about this last week about Carr towing the line and, Gruden having it out with Gannon on the sideline back in the day. And what kind of gripe does Gruden have if Gannon breaks off the play and makes a play? Gruden ain't going to say nothing, right? But those arguments come when Gannon thought he saw something or wanted to try to make something happen, and he went against Gruden, and Gruden got in his face, and they kind of argue back and forth. That's the kind of fire that a quarterback needs. Especially, look, did Gruden fire Gannon? Did he bench Gannon? No. Carr needs to stop worrying about his job and just play football. So I agree with you on that. He's good in close games, but he has a losing record as a starter, 5-17. Yeah. I you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's because, game situation. Like, he usually tends to win the one where he gets that touchdown with just under a minute left or 30 seconds left, and we have more than a 3-point lead. But there's been cases where we've needed that touchdown, and we've gotten it in the fourth quarter. And then we had to rely on our defense. And our defense came up a few times on those too, right? Our defense came up. I mean, it was kind of sketchy looking like always, but, bend don't break. But then the defense steps up and they do their job, and then we end up winning the game. And there's times where we lose it too to a field goal. So we just need to have that mentality, man. It's not – we need to build the defense too. But that has nothing to do with Carr. The defense will help, period. I mean, like, that's just the way it is. But – it's a team effort. It takes 22 players to win a game, not just, Kansas City had to make plays, right? I mean, they were getting ran on yesterday, and they tightened it up. They figured out a way to slow it down good enough to get the ball back in their hands and let Mahomes and that offense go 3 touchdowns, bang, 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 win the game. So Jordan Love, I haven't watched a lot of tape on Jordan Love, but I think Gruden gets the right guy, gets enough time with the right guy. I think that's where the future is right now. That's where I'm putting my eggs in my basket, is in a young quarterback. I mean, honestly, I would like to get a guy like Tua if he's healthy. But if not, I mean, Herbert, Love, I don't care who it is. Somebody that can be under the system for maybe a good year to 2. And I think that's why, if you're going to sell it to Mark Davis, I think they know that as a whole. I mean, why put it out there this early that you're willing to go after Brady? You want to let Brady know, hey, it doesn't work out, come see us. So why would you put that out early? Why would you put that onus on Carr? Because going in, and I talked heavy on this last week. This was one of my biggest points. New city, new stadium. We have to have the right pieces in place, regardless of the outcome, I guess, at this point, right? If you're going to get rid of Carr, the guy that knows the system the best, and we could talk about the non-Mamba mentality, all the stuff we've just been talking about, the record, all that kind of stuff. It's good enough right now if you build the defense and get some playmakers and hope for the best. Like, you don't want to go in. You don't want to go in next year with a rookie quarterback. That's rough. Even Kyler Murray, and I haven't even thought about getting into that right now about Josh Jacobs getting snubbed on that. But maybe I'll open that up in the third segment. But look, rookie Kyler Murray struggled, played well. You saw the talent. Like, Arizona's going to be that much better with Kyler Murray at quarterback in the future. But Mark Davis and the Raiders in Las Vegas right now, they don't have that luxury in year 1. Carr or Brady. I don't think bringing in Mariota or Winston or any of those other guys is, going to make, I don't think it's good enough. People know Carr. I mean, there's a lot of us that are like, done. It's not going to hurt me whether he's here or not. There's other people that just don't want him here at all. They're going to be mad if he's there. I'm like, either way. I understand if he's still our quarterback in 2020, I totally get it. But I don't need him to be my quarterback in 2020, right? And if you're going to do it, I guess Brady would be the one that I could sit back and go, kind of risky still at 43 years old. Father Time catches up with everybody, caught up with Peyton, caught up with everybody, right? 43 years old, man, that's pretty old, right? So there is some concern for me there a little bit, but come on, it's the GOAT. It's Brady. It makes sense. It's going to put butts in those seats too. Just the fact that Brady's on a different team is going to draw a lot of attention to that Coliseum. So that's what they want. So it's two-sided, right? But let's get into a few more chats and then Jalen Hurts, that too. What's up, Carl, by the way? My man from down under. What's going on, bro? It's good to hear from you, dude. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like I said, it's whatever we pick, it just can't be our starter. Whatever we do, quarterback-wise, it can't be our starter. We have to make sure that we have a quarterback in place that gives us optimal abilities to win games. That's why Brady makes sense to me. If it's gonna go down, Brady makes sense. If it don't, they really need to think that one through. So Yincy said it right there, but I agree with part of that and disagree with some of it, right? So sign Brady to 2 or 3 years, draft a quarterback, and trade Carr for picks. Again, Brady's 43, man. I don't see Brady playing until he's 46. And locking up that money, 2 years tops. 2 years tops, but I think if we offered him $30 million guaranteed or some crazy number like that to come play, maybe with some incentives if he gets hurt or whatever, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to dump too much money into a 43-year-old quarterback, guys. I'm just saying. I mean, he showed that Father Time is not after him as much as he's been other players. I mean, Drew Brees is the same way. I still think Drew Brees has got it, and he's up there in age too, man. Those two guys are just remind me of Brett Favre, right? There's just no quitting these guys. So I'm okay with it, but I don't know if I want to lock them up 3 years. The comments are messing up. I have some it's having me review your comments, Raider Ben. And I was trying to allow them. So I'm trying to, like I said, learning this voiceover is helped me out a lot. Obviously, I'm in the chat. We're having these conversations, but I haven't found a way to accept your comments yet, dude. That's why I'm saying them the way they are. You said fuck the Niners, all that. I'm trying to help you out there as best as I can, but I'll fix that later in the chat. Okay, cool. Carr got paid and got fat. No, I don't think so. 517. I you know what? I think Carr has been the same since we drafted him. I think he's gotten more comfortable in offenses. I think he's gotten more comfortable at reading defenses. So he has improved in that area, but he's still playing the game soft and safe. That has not changed about him. So, the money didn't make him soft and safe. I mean, he's just been soft and safe for whatever reason, whether he was coached and told to be that way or he's always trying to be safe so he doesn't get canned. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I think all the pressure that's happening right now with Carr, like with the rumors of Brady and all that kind of stuff, to me, this would be a perfect time for Carr if he has another opportunity to be like, man, I got to show it all or I'm done. And that could be the other benefit on the other side, but I'm not buying it, man. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, man. You know what? I never do that, man. Smash that like button, like, comment, subscribe, the whole thing. I want to just smash that like button. I don't know how many. Let me see how many people we got in here. 12. That's not bad. That's not bad for 3 years of absence, but I want 12 likes at least on this bitch right now. 12 likes. Smash it. 12 likes. Let's go. 12 likes if you want Brady. And if you don't want Brady, 12 likes if you want Carr, I guess. I don't know. Okay, here, how about this? I'll cheat. Smack that like button if you felt like Josh Jacobs should have got Offensive Rookie of the Year. There you go. There you go. I should have 12 likes right there. 12 likes. Hit that like button if you thought Josh Jacobs should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year. All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump topic. Let's jump topic one more time. So on that note, let's go ahead and talk about Josh Jacobs getting snubbed, and then we'll head into the defense because I think that'd be a good segue. I'm not taking nothing away from Kyler Murray. I saw a tweet, and I thought the tweet was fantastic because it talked about Kyler Murray and his play in the division that he played in against some of the best defenses in the league. I mean, the Rams still had a good defense, have a good defensive front, plays them twice a year. Seattle still has a good defense, played them twice a year. Niners, probably one of the better defenses in the league, especially when it comes to that front, hands down. Played them twice a year. That's 6 games. He made improvements. He's Kyler Murray. Come on, I'm gonna be honest with you. Popularity contest is what that came down to. I'm not taking nothing away from Kyler Murray. Nothing. And let's face it, we're all going to be a bit biased, right? For sure. But hands down to me, when you look at what Josh Jacobs did, playing hurt, rookie season with the road schedule like we had, how could you not give that boy some love, man? When you look at the voting, I think it was like 26 or 23-13 or something like that. I remember seeing it. Blew me away. I'll go as far as saying unacceptable. There's just it should at least been close. And from what was reported, it wasn't even close. It was Kyler Murray ran away from it, man. Why? Because he played 16 games. I mean, you're going to take that from him? I don't know, man. I know this. This is what I do know. Josh Jacobs has openly said that he didn't care about awards. All he cared about was winning football games and being in the Super Bowl next year. Honorable. And Josh Jacobs, I love you for that, man. Always be humble, man. No matter what you gain in life, I know you've been through a lot. Always be humbled and take everything with a grain of salt. But I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to call you out on this bullshit. Who doesn't want the recognition, man? You still going to want the recognition. You wanted that reward. It doesn't mean as much to you as all the other stuff does. But this is what only I'm going to turn this into a positive, right? Always trying to take a negative into a positive. I also heard Josh Jacobs in an interview say, I don't want that sophomore slump. That's what I'm worried about. Well, guess what? This helps him not get that sophomore slump, right? This could put that chip on his shoulder. He got snubbed out. Now use that, run angry, run harder, train harder, and just improve, man. You got all the skill sets, man. You have that ability that I've been looking for on this offense for a very long time. In fact, I'll even throw it out there because, I don't mind, man. You say, hey, yes, we say things sometimes. We don't have the crystal ball. We don't know we don't have all the answers, right? And I used to defend Carr, going right back to Carr. I defended Carr. Man, when I was doing this regularly, I defended him all the time, and I kept saying, that boy just needs a running game. That boy just needs a running game. That boy just needs a running game. Well, he had Josh Jacobs last year. Richard, Washington, they did fantastic, dude. And Ian Carr's numbers got better. I could give myself that much. But it wasn't the turnout that I expected. But Josh Jacobs is the man. Josh Jacobs is the focal point of this offense moving forward. Josh Jacobs is the reason why that I worry that Gruden's not going to change his offensive philosophy of just, always putting his foot on the gas and not letting up and just, start running it too early in the second half just because we got a lead. Josh Jacobs is that good. So it really, really sucks that he didn't get Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and that kind of excites me because that guy has vision. We could talk about the hands. We could talk about the burst. We could talk about the power. It's all about vision, man. He sees the whole. Like, okay, remember Latavius Murray? It's one of the arguments. I used to be hard on Latavius. If you guys remember, I used to be really hard on Latavius. He just didn't have that vision, man. Put his head down, fall forward. He was good at that. And the guy had some skill, but he just didn't like have that vision. Like run one way, you see him to have the patience enough to stop and cut it back, and then they're boom, find that hole and explode. And it doesn't matter, if it's 6 or 7 yards, man. It all adds up, and you start wearing on that defense. And man, I like Josh Jacobs. So use that to your advantage, bro. It just, you got snubbed. It is what it is. I know you publicly said you don't care, but I know inside you did. I would. You said the right thing, and I'm sure deep down inside you don't care about Offensive Rookie of the Year. I really believe that. But I know that it pisses you off that you didn't get it. Just a little bit. You're a little bit jealous that Kyler Murray got that reward. I would be. So, and it's okay. I'm not looking for you to come on and tweet it or come on and be like, you know what, I changed my mind. No, you don't have to say nothing, man. Keep that to yourself, but put that on your shoulder and just make people pay for that moving forward. I want to get into a little bit of the defense because I'm going to talk about the other side. Like we've been talking about the Super Bowl. We've been talking about Mahomes setting the standard yesterday, and not only setting the standard for the AFC conference, but setting that standard for the AFC West. And that's kind of what got us into the Brady Carr talk again, because it's like, it's a copycat league, right? Defense wins championships and offenses build dynasties. And that's what scares me about the Kansas City Chiefs right now and Patrick Mahomes. We finally got Manning out of our conference or our division. And now we got a guy like Mahomes that we got to deal with. So we try to build something, and which we build an offense with an attack like Kansas City and be as efficient as they are and start getting into some shootouts with these guys and just really put it to their defense. Or we got to find a way to build a defense that's going to stop Mahomes in this offense, which is not going to be an easy task, man. They got a lot of speed. They got a lot of playmakers on the outside. And what I saw last night, briefly, was a defensive front from the San Francisco 49ers that had him flustered, man. That's step number one. So when I look at our defense right now and the way that it's built, it's much improved, right? Everything all stats pretty much doubled on the defensive line last year. And I believe that we were like 8th in the run. That's pretty good, man. That's a good start. But Kansas City's not known to be a running team, man. They're a passing team, so that doesn't really help us too much, does it? And I heard people talk about our defense and our defensive front not being, they need help in the middle. Look, Justin Jelly Ellis is supposed to come back. I think Mo Hurst is a great third down defensive tackle. Cleveland Farrell, I know some people don't like him. I heard somebody say cut him already. Like, I'm like, what? Like, no, dude. Like, that guy, he got better as the season went along. Going into year 2, look, Farrell's not going to be Mac, okay? Farrell's not going to be Von Miller, but that guy is going to be solid. He's going to do all of it well. He's not one-dimensional, right? He's batting balls down. He's setting the edge. He's good on the run, and he's getting sacks at the same time. He's a team guy. I'm cool with that. We got Mad Max Crosby. There's our new Mac. There's our Von Miller. Not even going to get in. It's not about if he's better or who's better. No, Max is just a beast. He's got a high motor. He's going to get sacks. He's going to cost. And people don't realize this. Max didn't get snubbed. I don't think it is what it is. I'm okay with the defensive side of the ball. It is what it is. Max proved himself, okay? Max came in undersized and still dominated. He talked about in practice beating Trent Brown for the first time and was able to get in there. Bang. So that guy this offseason is going to get stronger. If you guys remember when we drafted him, I think it was the Mike Mayock conversation with him over the phone saying, hey, Mad Max, I need you in the weight room. I need you getting stronger. That's your next step. That's what your year one's going to be about. Max is like, man, I'm cool with that. Yeah, but I want more. And he went and got more. So now as Mad Max goes out and gets stronger and faster, he's going to have a great year too. I got a lot of high expectations for Mad Max Crosby. The one person that I'm getting fed up with is the Carr on defense, right, is Arden Key. But here's what's weird about Arden Key. Like, it's just him and Carr are almost comparable in the sense that if you go back and you watch the tape and you try to keep an eye on Arden Key, that boy is always right there. Right there. He's always around the football. And he does make plays. He has the ability. He's not living up to his expectations, and I don't know what it is, man. But it's just, if you watch the tape, he's always right behind the quarterback as he's releasing the ball. Is it his speed? No. Is it his strength? Maybe he needs to gain more size. He needs to do more power inside. He's going too wide, obviously. He's taking his rush too wide, and he's losing those few valuable seconds that he would have to get to the quarterback. So for me, that's strength. He needs to trust in his strength and go more of a swim move or cut into the inside more, do something. He's missing something. Are we done with him? I don't know. We'll see when he comes back from injury. We'll see what the defensive staff thinks. I think he's a great third down pass rusher still. You can never have enough. You got him under contract. We'll see. We'll see. But that defensive front could use help. But I think that it might be good enough. Maybe we'll see what we get in free agency. When you always talk about front seven, right? Stopping the run, rushing the passer, front seven. I'm gonna say back seven at this point. We need linebackers. We bring back Burfict. Maybe we sign Will Compton. And then maybe we take that to the next level. And we need some outside backers that can cover. We need those hybrids. All right. Next week, I want to get in. I'm going to talk a lot about the linebackers next week. I actually been watching a few different people. I know they're talking about Murray. And there's a couple of other ones that are ranked higher than Murray. One hasn't declared yet out of Alabama. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they say that hands down, this cat, he got injured. He could declare. If he declares, he might be the guy. But we need more than just a linebacker that could fill the hole and rush the passer. We need someone that could pass protect. And I know they say that Murray just didn't have to do a lot of it, that he could have. We're gonna have to watch the combine to see, his pass drills and how good his hands are and how he could drop back into space, and we'll have to wait and see. But Mahomes shows that he's going to get the ball downfield. So we have to cover. We got to cover these speedy guys. So we got to look at corners too. We got to sign Worley back. Worley has to come back. That guy can make some plays, and he could play all over the field. We need hybrid guys like that. We need guys that could play safety, corner, play in the slot, play that outside a little bit too. I like Mullen. I like Nixon. I like Lawson. We got to shore that up, man. We're going to have Abram. We're going to have a healthy Abram next year. That's going to help. We're talking about sending Joyner in the back to help him out too. Which means we're going to need those hybrid outside linebackers to really make plays on tight ends and just cover these backs out of the backfield. We got to have coverage in the back because Mahomes is going to find them. These guys are fast. They're quick. They're getting open. They're making plays after the catch. Kelsey's a nightmare. We got Fant too, and Hunter. All San Diego, Broncos, Chiefs, they all got great tight ends. We got a great tight end. It's a tight end. The AFC West is full of tight ends, which means that we need these hybrid guys. Man, my green screen's bleeding pretty bad today. We need these guys to come in and ball. So when I look at our defense, man, we have to try to build it to beat the Chiefs. If we could build it to beat the Chiefs' speed and their tight ends, that's going to pay big dividends down the road. Now, Gruden's an offensive guy. I know Gruden's going to want to really make an offense that's going to be explosive, but you need that balance, man. I personally would like a more balanced team, but if I had all the right answers, I always said that, right? If I always had the right answers, I wouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting. But what are your guys' thoughts, man, on our defense? What is it going to take to build a defense to really kind of? I don't think the word is to stop Kansas City. Yeah, let's build a defense to stop. I don't think there is stopping Kansas City. We need to build a defense that can compete. We need just to make a couple of stops, man, and we have to have an offense to answer, though, right? So if we're gonna look at it like that, we need to score points on Kansas City, and we need to build a defense that can actually stop them enough to give us a chance. That's where we're at. That's what we saw last night. We saw a really, really good defense really hold them down for 3 quarters. They just couldn't finish. That's how good Kansas City is. It's not about you gotta score points. You got to be able to stop them, but you got to be able to score points too. Let's get in this chat list. What you guys got? Awesome, man. Thank you, man. I think to catch that first part. $517 Way Life said he was a fan before the W2W channel, and glad he's back. Hey, thank you, dude. I really appreciate that, brother. Dude, Raider Band, well said, dude. Well said, man. Like, I don't believe that I think I talked over the rest of your comment. I'm sorry, bro, but you said a great point at the top. I mean, we don't need Brady per se. We just need competition for Carr. We need to push that guy. And you know what? I think just with the rumors in itself has already pushed him. You know, Carr's got to be sitting there going, wow, this is real. Like last year was a bunch of talk, right? And he came out and he said, hey, all these people are talking, but, they were telling me that I was the guy. This year, I think it's a little different. I think it's like, hey, you have an opportunity to still be the guy, but you're not safe. You're not safe by all means. So you better find a way to take your game to the next level, because you're about to be replaced. And that's what he needs. So I agree with you on that. Keith Petty, what's up, brother, man? I'm doing real well, dude. I'm doing real well. Just trying to get back at this, man. I'm just trying to get back to the grind and talk some Raider football, and it's therapeutic for me, man. I really need it in my life. So I missed it the past 3 years, and I'm just trying to get it back, man. But thank you for being here, Keith. Defense coaches, coordinators. You know what? I like Gunther. And Gunther's a proven guy, man. And I'm trying to break the mold of me being the fanboy that's always looking for the excuses instead of the reasons. But Gunther has had injuries that plagued him a little bit last year, especially in our secondary and our safeties and all that. But he's had a lack of the proper talent for himself too. So I'm hoping that this year it rounds out. I think they're going to put an emphasis on it. They know that they need help, especially in the linebacker core and in the secondary. This would be Gunther's year to either make some noise or not. Like I said, I'm not looking to be a top 5 defense, man, but I want to be a top 10. Actually, I would even say a top 12. If we can be a top 12 total defense, we're on the right track. Keith Petty is Shawshank. Shawshank, that's my boy. See, you threw me off, man. You threw me off. My boy Shawshank, Morgan Freeman himself, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat right now. let me redo that. It's holding that comment on you again, Ben. Hold on. I didn't catch it. No, Derek, but your bitch is the problem or something. Anyway, but it's being held for review too. I'm going to see if I can get it to post up there. I don't know if that worked. Yeah, Gruden should be judged hard too. 517 Way Life. If he gets a new quarterback, his guy, he handpicks his guy, because you remember he didn't handpick Carr. I mean, he had a choice. He's had plenty of opportunity to move on from Carr and draft somebody else, and he stuck with Carr. But again, Gruden's systems worked, man. I'm not going to judge Gruden. Like last year, I think we would have won more games if we had a better defense. And that's not me making excuses. There's some, but again, I saw us as a first half team, and I don't put that on Carr as much as I put that on Gruden. I mean, you're always going to have to put it on the quarterback. I'm not going to lie. And we've been talking about how I feel about Carr at this point or whatever, but some of that is play calling, getting the lead, and then running and focusing on the run and taking the rhythm out of the game. Gruden's always been known for that, but when he was here in the first stint, we had the defense to back it up. We had the defense, man. We had Beaker. We had Eric Allen on the outside, Woodson. We had ballers, man. We had people that were making plays. We don't have that just yet. But I think Gruden needs to change his philosophy a little bit and catch up with the time. It's okay to go old school, man. I'm excited to watch a little bit of old school football, but you also gotta be able to keep up with the new era of football too. At the same time, you got to find a balance, my man. So I'm with you. Gruden's system will work, but he's gonna have to learn how to put the pedal down more often. a Seattle Raider fan was talking about going out and getting CD Lamb and Love, and then keeping Carr for like a year, and then get him. He's tired of Carr. You know, the only thing is here's the thing. We definitely need to address the wide receiver position. We need a playmaker on the outside, and I think we need to both try to get it in free agency as well as the draft, and not just be focused on one or the other. And we have 2 first-round picks. So if I had it my way, going back to the Brady card talk, you know, I would take a guy like Love. I would take one of these other quarterbacks and make him a project and take him later, even use some of the picks to get back up into the second round if we have to, or whatever we got to do. But I really think that if we're going to be a balanced football team and really try to compete with Kansas City, we need to either get a linebacker for sure. And because, again, man, if we're really going to focus on quarterback that hard, I'd rather do it early and try to get Tua. Why settle? I mean, I trust in Gruden, but we need outside help too. I mean, it's a tough call, but I think we really need to address the defense in the first round. I don't want to not, and I think that's what you're saying. Like we probably get Love later, and that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough to call, man. It's really, really tough to call. I mean, this is what I do know. And this is the way I'll answer a lot of those stuff this offseason is Mayock proved last year that he's a good analyst, and he did a really good job in short notice picking players that fit their system. That fits Gunther's system and fits Gruden's system. And I have full confidence that Mike Mayock in year 2, being able to see the players and really have the time to really watch this whole team on film, see its holes, and evaluate the type of players that we need to put in place. I do trust Mayock on that. And when it comes to that, I'm going to give it all to Mayock. I really am. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to give my opinion. So, I mean, I want a linebacker, to be honest with you. If we can get Worley back, I think linebacker needs to be a pick. I'd like to see an outside hybrid linebacker. Sign Compton, bring Burfict back, but get an outside hybrid linebacker that can tackle, cover. I mean, I want a Troy Polamalu type guy. I know Polamalu was a safety, but I want that kind of a crazy athlete on the outside. Because that's what this, these tight ends in these days, man, they're crazy. They're crazy good, crazy tall, crazy fast. I mean, man, it's this defense needs to step up. So as much as I want to focus on Carr and Brady and finding a good wide receiver, I want a defense. I've always told you guys I'm a defensive guy. I love good defense, but I also need. I'm kind of both. I don't want to say I'm one or the other, but I mean I miss the old days where we're smacking people in the mouth and stopping them from scoring. I don't know. Yincy was saying about Carr being too nice. That's what makes him a good leader in a lot of different ways. He leads. There's 2 different kind of leaders. There's going to be in-your-face type leaders, and there's going to be leaders that motivate you behind the scenes, challenge you behind the scenes, and show you love and give you confidence. In this particular football team, it seems to work. When we talk about Carr's leadership, there's not a player on that team that doesn't love the guy and that won't give up anything to protect him and play for him. That's a tough one to call, Yincy. But with a football mentality, a Mamba mentality, you want to see more fire. I get that. I'm more worried about his play on the field than how he leads because, I mean, he's a proven leader in my opinion. He does have that about him. People love him, man. People will follow him. People will play their heart out for him. That offensive line will go that extra mile for him, all that good stuff. But he needs to have more of that. Again, I'm going to use that Mamba thing. He needs to have that Mamba mentality 4 quarters all the time. He needs not stop being so nice to Gruden. Let me put it that way. He could be nice to everybody else and lead that way. It works. But he needs to get in Gruden's face and needs to challenge Gruden a little bit more and make more plays. And then I think that's where I'm at with that. Yeah. A Seattle Raider fan. He had a high completion rating because all of his passes were like 2 yards. I can't agree more, man. That's been the thing that's frustrated me the most about that guy. I just can't stand the constant check down. We got to move the ball upfield. And I think I get the most frustrated with that is because I know that he has the arm to do it. He does, man. He has a really good arm and he's very accurate. He plays, and I said this before, he plays scared. He plays really scared. And I think he's playing scared of getting hit and getting sacked. But I think he plays scared of Gruden too. He plays scared for his job. He needs to get rid of that fear and just put it all out on the line. Well, again, Raider Ben, when you call Derek Carr out on Twitter, people just want to pull up his stats. Stats mean something, man. Stats mean something. And it goes to what I've been saying. The Carr has arm talent. Carr can read defenses, and Carr's going to find he's playing it too safe, right? Like there's a problem with it, but at the same time, it's not easy to, no matter how you're doing it, it's not easy to throw for over 4,000 yards. Again, I'm not going to get into the completion percentage and the quarterback ratings because to me, those are numbers that don't matter because that's where you get into the wins and losses. But having the ability to throw for over 4,000 yards, but not really having the points in the wins and losses to really show that, in my opinion, is a problem. That's where the problem lies. And I believe that it's in Carr, man. I like I said, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for him anymore, but I believe that Carr can do it. That's why I said it last week. I'm okay with Carr starting in 2020. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Whether you draft his replacement or not, I would be okay with it to a certain degree, only if he's going to go out there and take it to the next level. Like but I don't have confidence in him doing that at this point. I don't see him playing like that because he hasn't yet. But maybe this Brady talk kind of lights that fire in him. Maybe drafting a quarterback or really bringing in someone like Marcus Mariota even, to really challenge him in the offseason. Maybe that's what's going to, I don't know. Do you remember how he won the job? I mean, Matt Schaub wasn't great. I'm glad he won the job, but do you remember that Seattle game? I know it was preseason, but do you remember the throws he was making? All upfield. That dude balled out that game. That's Derek Carr. That's the ability that he has. And that's the only time I remember that I seen it to that level. I haven't seen it since. It was all, then he started the season and Kiffin and them, they were like, it wasn't Kiffin. I can't remember his name. It was dink and dunk, man. It was dink and dunk. And it's been that way. It seems like it's been that way, but you see him throw the deep ball. You saw him throw the deep ball and put it where only Coop can go get it. Right? You saw him just throw some beautiful passes at Crabtree. We've seen it. I know he can make the throws. I know he has it in him to ball out. That's why I think I get so pissed. I can't speak for everybody else and why they don't like Derek Carr. I get mad when you know that someone has the potential to be something, but they're not reaching their potential, right? Like that frustrates the hell out of me. And I'm also a little bit pissed off that for years and years when I was doing it here regularly, I defended the guy constantly. And I'm not afraid about looking bad, like, oh, you defended Carr and, now look at, no, I'm not, I don't care about all that. I just know this guy has the potential to be that good. He does. He's not the fastest guy, but he's an athlete. He can get up to the outside. You saw him run and dive, and the guy's athletic, and the guy has a great arm. He plays scared. It drives me nuts. It drives me just crazy, and I'm done with it. I can make the argument all day about his athletic ability and his arm talent, but what does that do if he's not going to go put it out on the field? That's why I get pissed off. Wins, losses, the guy has man, the guy has all the tools and he's not using all the tools. That's what frustrates me. I'm getting really pissed off about it right now, to be honest with you. Jonathan Renteria, what's up, brother? How are you? Thanks, Ben. Raider saying good shit. Raider Ben saying good shit. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. A Seattle Raider fan hit the like button because he don't want Carr. Cool, man. Like, keep smashing that like button, guys. Jacob was robbed, and Minchie was better than Murray, to be honest. Yeah, man, Jacob was robbed, but like I said, I want him to use that to his advantage. And, when even as a fan, coming from a fan perspective, offensive rookie of the year don't really mean shit. It means you had a great rookie season. Jacob said it himself. I mean, coming in year 2, there's plenty of running backs even that has sophomore slumps. And he just doesn't want to be that statistic. And I could respect that. I know he wanted to win it. I mean, you're still going to want to win that reward. You want to be recognized. So I'm cool with that. Like but it is just offensive rookie of the year. It doesn't mean nothing. It's not going to get you into the Hall of Fame. That alone is not going to take him to the Hall of Fame. That alone is not going to get us to the Super Bowl. That alone is not going to make him the top rusher in the league next year. It's just not. So I get all that. But from a fan perspective, you want to see him win that title. That's for the fans more than anything. Nice, dude. Thanks, Raider Ben. He says that he smashed that like button because he fucks with Jason. Thank you, Raider Ben. I appreciate that, bro. Exactly. Popularity contest is exactly why they didn't win. So I'm pretty far back in the chat, man. I'm like a half hour back in the chat. So I hope I'm going to try to skim ahead a little bit because I'm going to have to get out of here pretty quick. I've been on for like almost an hour and a half. I like to talk, man. That's always been my problem. Getting some of these views on the after part of this, like live. I love the live stuff, dude. This is what I love to do. But man, getting the views afterwards because my shows are so long, that's why I got to turn them into podcasts. Let me see if I can get down. Okay, hold on. All right, I caught up a little bit. Let me get back a little bit. Let me see who. Yeah, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is trying to get some deals with the casino that's not going to allow players in there as much. And I thought that was class act too. That's the kind of guy we got with Jacobs. Jacobs is now the face of this franchise. I totally agree. But at the same time, you need a quarterback to go along with that. So, I hope they address that and they make the proper changes to make that happen. Carl Rogers saying we need some talented vets to get in there to help show the youngsters a way. I agree because we're getting pretty young, but I think that's what we keep Vontaze Burfict. I think Burfict is that guy. I know he plays with a hard nose. He's Bill Romanowski-esque, and I like that about Vontaze Burfict. But the league has changed, and we have to respect that too. We don't have we miss that tough, just grind it out football and smack me in the mouth football, but you can't play it like that no more. So if Burfict can get that under control, I think he would be a huge asset not only to this football team but to the young guys around him. Oh, that's a good one. Carl Rogers talking about my thoughts about the D-line coach. I like Marinelli because I think he brings in another defensive philosophy, another defensive mind. Because right now, I think what they're really trying to do, and I touched about on this in the beginning of the show, is about finding that defense that's going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is not taking any away from Gunther, right? We had Buckner last year, and that he really raised the level of play on this defensive line, but they saw something else, right? They maybe they wanted to go. I don't understand why they made the change per se, except for my own personal thought on it is get as many defensive minds in the room as possible to try to devise a plan and a scheme to catch up with today's NFL. As old school as John wants to be on offense, he understands that the real big change in the game right now is offensively, and these hybrid quarterbacks and these hybrid tight ends. And then you always had wide receiver talent. You always had running backs that can make plays, but you're starting to get that now from your quarterback. Back in the day, it was like Warren Moon, and he was kind of the slower version of the running the ball. And then there was Randall Cunningham, who was one of the original ones that I remember that I watched that could run the ball, punt the ball, and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we all know the Michael Vick. Yeah, slow down, Smith. Michael Vick experience, right? Had he not got popped for the illegal dogfighting and all that, that guy was insane, man. He was fun to watch too, right? Even go back to even Steve Young. Steve Young was a beast. I used to like, I know he's a Niner guy. It's okay, but man, you see that guy run the ball, man. Steve Young was tough, smart and tough. But you're getting a lot more of that now. It's a whole different dynamic. These guys could throw the ball too. They could run, they could throw, this read option stuff. Now they got tight ends that are running routes like wide receiver. We were lining Darren Waller outside, man. We weren't even using Waller as a full bred tight end. He was beating cornerbacks, man. Like that's why changing the defensive line coach, I could make the argument of saying it was a good move because here's another defensive mind that could help figure all this stuff out. You're gonna have the defense is gonna have to change. You can't play defense the same. Advantage offense all day. So you're gonna have to create a defense and find these hybrid players and devise these schemes, especially when the linebacker. I think that's where the change needs to be made is in the linebacker cores of football teams. They got to be big enough, fast enough. Basically, you're replacing the outside linebackers with the tight ends to match the tight ends on the other side, right? The old school tight ends were these big extra offensive linemen that would run like 5 and outs. They were your possession receivers, to get first downs. They weren't necessarily meant to be explosive down the field. Now you have that. So the old school way of having linebackers, your outside linebackers didn't have to sit there and play these hybrid tight ends. So the mentality has to change in the linebacker core to say that these outside linebackers have to be just as much physical athletes like cornerbacks as much as they are as linebackers. So you got to find these hybrid guys, and it's not easy to make that change. I think teams are starting to find them, but I think that's where the league's going. You need these outside linebackers to be just as athletic as these tight ends are these days. And that's what I'd like to see the Raiders find. Linebacker and corner are huge needs. Who was that? Bonner Lee. Bonner Lee. my voiceover said Boner, man, but I'm sure it's Bonner Lee. Not Boner Lee. Yeah, I agree, but I think we have to address the wide receiver position. We'll see what happens in free agency. But I still say we get a young stud. And like I said, I'm not against going out and finding the future quarterback. It depends on what Gruden and Mayock want to do. Are they hungry for a guy like Tua? They're going to have to move up, I think. After that, are they going to be able to get Herbert in 3? They're going to have to move up early second or late first to pull that off too. So there's a lot of question marks. I don't want to get out of the first round without at least a linebacker and a corner, one of the two. The Mamba mentality does not throw the ball away on 3rd and goal. I agree, but that's the thing. That's okay. That play right there, and I thank you for bringing it. Who brought that up? Let me go back. Thesson, if that's saying your name right, my voiceover saying it right. The Mamba mentality does not throw it away on 3rd and goal, and I agree. Okay. So I'm not, by the way, I don't know when you came in. I'm not saying that Carr has the Mamba mentality. I'm saying he needs it, right? So the thing is that this is where I start to think that the coaches are in his head. They're in his head. He's going through reads, and if they're not there, he's taught to throw it away. But in those certain situations, 3rd and goal, game on the line, you have to make a play. You have to make a play. And this is what I'm talking about. That sets up, the lack of Mamba mentality, yes. But this backs up kind of what I say, that Gruden's in his head. Let's just use Gruden at this point, right? The way that Gruden's system works, and he is such a stickler on the verbiage, the going through your progressions and protecting the football. That's what's embedded in Carr's head right now. And it's almost like he's really afraid to challenge Gruden. And that's what pisses me off, because I know that Carr has the arm talent. He needs to stop playing so safe. I'm done talking about that. It just pisses me off. Carr can't win in cold weather. I've never been a big proponent on, weather making. Weather definitely plays a big part in games. So I'm not saying that. So please do not misquote me when I say that. But there's ways around it. You got to play no matter what. And if it's a real stat and it really goes to show that Carr cannot just handle the cold, then I guess that's an issue. But I think that in its within itself can be overrated at times. Yeah. Boner Lee was talking about bringing Bonner. I'm gonna stop saying it that way. I got to stop listening to my voiceover. Sorry, bro. Bonner Lee, saying that he doesn't want Brady. That you could tell in his play that is Father Time's catching up to him a bit, and I agree. But man, it's hard. It's really hard to say, but I agree. And at 43, I mean, when Father Time gets you, he gets you. We've seen it all the time. One off season, and that's all it takes, and it catches up with you. But if you're really, really serious about moving away from Carr now, I'd rather have a guy like Brady, even for his brain alone and his winner mentality, to help groom the next guy moving forward. I have all faith in Gruden's ability to groom a quarterback. But like I said, it's worth the risk. Like I said, if you're really, really fed up, like we are with some of us, right? With Carr. Like I'd have no problem with Carr starting 2020, but I know there's a lot of the Raider Nation that are done with him now. You're going to want somebody that understands the offense, and that's where I want Carr in 2020. But this offseason and this draft is going to say a lot. It's going to say a lot about the direction the Raiders are going. But I do worry about Brady's age. I really, really do. Midwest Raider says, let's keep Carr and build to the draft. And this is and I like that statement because maybe this will help, because I just feel like I keep repeating myself right now. And that's why I think that's why I'm ready to get out of here. But I love you guys, so don't take that the wrong way. But keeping Carr and building through the draft, okay, I'm cool with. But at this point, like Raider Ben has talked about and a lot of other people talked about, we need to put the hammer on Carr a little bit. I'm okay with that, man. This is the second week in a row that I'm okay to keep Carr and build to the draft. What I'm not okay with is for us to act like Carr is safe all the time. Like at some point, you got to find a way to raise that level in Carr. And Carr has not been challenged since he took the job over from Matt Schaub. Has not been challenged at all. This has been his team, his baby. And I think it's time that his level of play gets raised. And the only way that I see it happening is someone behind him that's really going to push it. Peterman, I know there's a lot of talk about Peterman last year. I saw some good things with Peterman. It's really the fact that he could run. But other than that, I didn't see his arm talent challenging Carr's arm talent. Just the fact that he was mobile, yeah. We need someone in there that's really going to push Carr to make Carr know that his job is not safe, that it's a what have you done for me lately type business. NFL stands for not for long. That's what's got to change. So I'm okay with your philosophy, Midwest Raider. I agree. Okay. Carr gives you enough to build all this other talent around him. But like we saw yesterday, having a guy like Mahomes, mentality wise, right? Push the ball upfield, never quit. That's what I want. And maybe that's just me being selfish, I guess. I don't know. But I agree. I think your philosophy could work, but only if Carr has to get better. He does have to get better. Wow. Carl Rogers says he believes that Gruden wants a runner at quarterback. What about Cam Newton? I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm down on that. Cam Newton to me is too inconsistent. I've seen Cam Newton have great arm talent, and I've seen him have horrible arm talent. Here's always been my problem. I don't know how many. I mean, I know some of you guys have been rocking with me for a while, You guys probably have heard me say this, and I haven't said it in a long time. I know the league is changing. I know the league is changing. And even when Gannon would scramble and Gannon would take off and run. You know, that's one of the things that I liked about Gannon. But a lot like Steve Young, I would compare Gannon more to a Steve Young type of quarterback than a Michael Vick or a Cam Newton or any one of these guys, right? For me, running quarterbacks rely too much on their legs. And it takes away from their ability from seeing the whole field and making a play when they can. You've seen that, Mahomes is not necessarily a big time runner either, but he keeps his head upfield. So when he's scrambling out and he has an opportunity to run, he'll throw it last second right at the line of scrimmage to make a play. Gannon would do the same thing. Steve Young could do the same thing. Guys like Michael Vick and Cam Newton, and really like one who was really bad at it was Colin Kaepernick, because I believe that Colin Kaepernick, and I said this many times about him, he was always looking to run before throw, right? Like that. You find the guy that can do both. You find me another Gannon and another Steve Young. Russell Wilson's another great example of a guy that can run the football, but is always looking upfield and looking to throw first, but having that ability to take off when he has to. Those are the kind of running quarterbacks I like. I'm not big on the Cam Newton type. In Cam Newton's days, he's starting to come more down to that area where he's going to need to be more in the pocket anyway. That's just always been my philosophy on it. And I know the league is changing, but I'm getting old too. So I'm an old school guy, and I haven't really, like I said, I like the running quarterback, but I like my quarterback to be able to throw the ball first, run second. LSU linebacker Queen looks like a good linebacker to look at. There's quite a few linebackers. I think the linebackers is pretty deep. I mean, it's kind of what kind of linebacker are you looking for? And, I know that we definitely need a linebacker that can cover. We haven't had one in a long time. In our division, we need a linebacker that can cover. Raider John's in the house. What's up, my brother, dude? How are you, dude? What do I feel about taking 2 wide receivers in the first round? Put your beer down, bro. I'm down. No, we don't need to take 2 wide receivers in the first round. I'm cool with taking one. You know what I mean? But I want to see a linebacker or corner go as well. And the only way that I say that those 2 first picks are all offense is if we package some deal and get Tua and a wide receiver weapon to match it for the future. I see that. But 2 wide receivers, my brother, no thank you. Cool, Carl Rogers. Appreciate you, my man. You've been rocking with me for a long time. I think I caught up, man. I think I finally caught up. I've been on for a very long time. Make sure before you leave, man, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, hit that notification bell for when I pop on live. Live is what I usually do it, man. I'm probably going to be recording my podcast eventually from here like this. Will I do standalone videos where I'm just recording it before uploading it? Yeah, possibly. We'll see what, sometimes it makes sense with time restraints because I have a lot of stuff going on. I have a couple other things that I'm running. If you can see the logo right here, I'm running another channel called Independently Blind, where I'm educating, advocating, and inspiring for the blind community. I'm also part of the Blind Center, where I'm getting trained to get skills like I'm using right now in voiceover to be able to actually finally chat with you guys on my own. There's some other skills that I got to get better at it, and there's some other things that they're going to teach me. Plus, I'm going to be going back to school for graphic communications, which will hopefully make these productions look a lot better and not have all these bleeding. I got to get some new lights. My lights are an issue, so my green screen's bleeding out a little bit today, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? I have the ultimate excuse. I'm independent. I had to keep doing that. I'm independently blind, man. That's just what I do. But I love you guys. I miss you guys. I love rocking with you guys. I thought I saw one more comment come through. Let me see. Check it one more time. All right, Carl Rogers, man. Peace out to you, man. Love you, dude. Thanks for checking in. I know you check out my independently blind stuff sometimes, and I appreciate you, bro. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. As always, remember to stay Raider strong, and I will talk to you guys later.